Hello, my friends, and welcome to another episode with me, your host, Rogan Freewolf. I decided to do something a little bit different today. Because I'm actually recording this, to be specific, on February 8th at some point after midnight in the morning. I wasn't planning on staying up this late or recording on this day, in fact, but it's kind of appropriate for what I want to talk about. Some of it anyways, because this month of February has turned out to be rather significant for me. In not in the ways that I certainly expected, but I just wanted to share, just some of the things that, that's been going through my mind, the things that I've been learning and that I'm trying to embrace, and what it means, in part, at the end, what it means for the channel, because the channel is going to continue, don't worry. I'm not gonna stop, but that's what I'm gonna get to at the end. But first, of course, gotta keep up with the tradition of being that mysterious stoner in a bowler. So, join me for some weed, why don't you? Or, a pipe of tobacco, or a beer, or whatever. So, we're going to start at the end instead of the beginning with February and what it's kind of come to mean for me, I guess you could say. A lot of people had a rough year, and I'm not trying to make mine sound any worse or anything. A lot of people lost loved ones and friends over this past year. It's been really crazy. For me personally, if you haven't kept up with my channel, about a year ago, it was sometime in February. I actually think it was towards the end, but towards the end of February, I got hurt in a factory job from them overworking the crap out of us and not rotating us through jobs or giving us proper weekend time off. And I am still recovering from that injury. I'm still not back to where I thought I would be. Because I was stuck in a fixed position for about 3 months before we finally figured out what the issue was. And ever since I went to the chiropractor and they fixed it, I've still been, like, the nerves that were pinched between my muscles, they're still kind of there getting pinched if I don't keep my spine loose. So I'm literally having to stretch every single morning and night to keep my back good and loose so that I don't pinch my nerve all the way. But my nerve was pinched for such a long time that it is taking me the majority of the year up till this point now to recover, and I'm still not done, unfortunately. Doing everything I can, but I can only afford so much, especially in this economy. So yeah, February is significant to me for that. It's gonna have this feeling, and even if I get over this issue, I'm still gonna have the memory of this pain, this thorn in my side, in my memory for a long time. I'm definitely not going to be forgetting this, and it's all began in February for this. The moment before that, that struck me as being something significant in February, was one of my exes, the particular one who introduced me to magic, you could say, or to be more, I guess you could say more scientifically accurate, the supernatural side of reality. Even though she wasn't super familiar with it herself, she knew just enough to introduce me, and her birthday was right smack dab in the middle of February. We broke up. She is unfortunately passed on. But she was a good person, and I owe a lot of what I know and what I've become through what I've learned to her. So I'll never forget her birthday on the 14th, even though we unfortunately broke up kind of on bad terms. I wanted to still be friends, but she was too heartbroken about how it went down for that, unfortunately. And then, the very first big moment for February is going to require me to take another hit. In the beginning of February, specifically on this day, February 8th, approximately 14 years ago, probably a couple hours from now, as of when I'm speaking, was the time and day that I, under my Christian name, not the one I carry right now, because I legally changed it, on February 8th, at roughly 2 in the morning, whenever the fuck we arrived, I got out of the bus and put my feet on the yellow footprints of Paris Island. In an attempt to become a United States Marine. Yes, if you don't know the story from before, yes, I used the word attempt for a reason. It wasn't meant to be. Not a medical discharge or anything like that. I just fucking pussied out, you could say. I didn't know what I was doing for certain things. I'm not going to get into full details of it because I talk about it in much fuller detail elsewhere on my channel. Go check that out. My full story. But it is something that I still can't help but think about every year. And to me, it was such an impactful time because that was one of the first big moments when not really my faith in religion started to break, but well, yeah, no, it was like that was actually like the real beginning of when I first had depression. Because the whole reason I joined the Marines was because I legitimately thought God was telling me to. I thought that was His divine will for my life, to be a Christian witness for Him on the front lines of our blessed country. And there were multiple reasons that I left. I thought I would have another chance at getting back in, for one. So I didn't think it would be that big of a deal. I went back and tried again, and they turned me down, because at the time it just wasn't... they were too jam-packed at the time. I would never go back now, for completely different reasons. But I hold no less respect for the people that serve. It's unfortunate how they're used to serve. That is something I do not approve of, but I don't support the people that control our troops, but I support the troops personally. It's hell what they go through. They do not get enough. They deserve a lot more for what they go through. But in my reflections and in my journeys throughout my life, I realized that, the way I was raised, my father always taught me to stand up for the truth when I knew what it was. Now, I've had practice standing up for bullshit and brainwashing, things that I thought were true at the time, being a very bold, brave idiot. But that is something that even when it's dangerous for the sake of real truth, that is still something that is deeply rooted within me. It is probably the best thing that my dad ever taught me. And it is something that I will follow till my grave. He also taught me to never break a promise, to the best of my ability. And around this time of year, I always think back to when I swore to help defend my country from enemies both foreign and domestic. And I realized that, that is, even though I messed up, even though, well, in reality, I didn't really belong there in the first place. I've been homeschooled my whole life. I didn't grow up doing PET. The only PT that I did was right before I joined. There was a lot of it because I was prepping even before I actually went and signed up. I trained myself for quite a year. I took some time to really shed some weight before I even bothered to go in and sign up. I was working on myself to try and prepare myself as best I could, and I still ended up getting recycled because, like a dumbass, I went to sick bay way too often, and that put me behind in the schooling and training, and they decided to start me over. And that was just like, oof. They're not kind to people who get recycled. Let's just put it that way. and going to boot camp with the Marines, like, they're the hardest ones. They are the hardest ones for a reason. And I'm a lot emotionally tougher now, to where I could emotionally handle it, but then I only lasted so long. I had a crap ton of more patience back then, believe it or not. I wouldn't have as much. I don't have really any patience for bullshit now. So I would be I'd be a more mentally capable recruit now. Not a very physically capable one, unfortunately. But I would also be a rebellious one. I would be a problematic one because I would not put up with bullshit from officers and bad logic. But like I was saying, in regards to that promise that everyone makes, I can't remember what they call it. It's where everyone goes for all the branches when they do the testing. They finish everything and then they go into that courtroom and they make that pledge and everything. Anyways, I can't remember what day that was, and I don't think I have that paper anymore. But that hung by my bedside for quite a long time. I didn't read it a lot. I didn't memorize it or anything, but I kept it there next to me. And it's something that will always be there in my mind. That it's part of my duty as an American citizen. It's something that I promised to do, to be honest about the things that I know, share the truth, do the best I can being myself about it. Everyone says that this is a Christian nation, that America is a Christian nation. That is bullshit. I hate to say it, but that's how it is. America is supposed to be for everyone. It's supposed to be a country of religious freedom. If it's a Christian nation, then it's not a nation of religious freedom. There shouldn't be any proselytizing for anyone. You should be allowed to believe what you want to believe. I do not like cults, but if no one's getting, physically harmed or, whatever, if everything's within the legal limits, then people should be allowed to worship whatever, however they want to, as long as everything's, within, legal moral standing. I don't believe that people should base their morals on a book, on what something a person wrote. Everyone can argue about specific definitions of words and things, but when it comes right down to it, morals should not be based on a book or a text. It should be based on empathy. It should be based on the pain we feel for other beings who are suffering. From human to animal. And we should treat each other the way we want to be treated ourselves. We don't need the whole 10 Commandments. We just need those 2 bits right there. Have some fucking empathy. Learn how to think from their perspective. It means talking to them. It means asking them questions. A lot of people have some pretty interesting stories. No 2 stories are the same. Mine may sound unique as fuck, but believe me, there's stories out there that are even more unique than mine. I've met those people with those stories. Mine ain't shit in comparison to them. but the shit that I gotta share, things that are in the Bible, it's like people make such a big deal about how it's such a perfect book. Oh my God, and that's what I was raised to believe. But that book has turned out to be the biggest thorn in my side. It is the thing that is everywhere. It is the thing that is on every street corner. It's sad. It's sad because it's an imperfect book, and so many people ignorantly believe that it's flawless. That it's what we should use for our morals. It's why it's one of the big reasons why the nation is divided as it is. Why the religion is divided as it is. It doesn't make any sense. Why that religion should be as accurate as they all say it is when there are so many damn different versions of it. Over 50,000. Not including the non-denominational churches. And not including the cults that pose as Christians. Although, to be honest, when you are honest about the Bible itself, you got to admit that the Bible is not perfect. And to think that it is, it's like, it's like being a believer or a Swiftie. Cult following. Lifting something up that's way to a way higher standard than what it actually is. People just ignoring or not knowing what the actual facts are inside that frickin' book. And it drives me nuts to not say anything, to not do anything. It's one of the reasons it's the reason. It is the reason the way I am. I was raised on it. I found out the truth about it. And now I can't get it out of my head. If I don't get it out of my mouth, then what was the point of going through all that shit? If I don't tell other people the truth, what was the point of it all? You can doubt me about tarot cards. You can doubt me about anything regarding the supernatural. That is totally fine. Until you've had your experience, you're not going to know. That's fine. And not everyone's meant to know. Not everyone's open-minded enough to know, to be honest. But if there's one damn thing you can't really deny, is the fucked up shit in the Bible. It's as plain as the nose on your face. I'm never going to get tired of this shit. And honestly, I don't need a whole lot to be happy. I get so much out of so little. And it's actually rather ironic that certain elite people think that we should have nothing and be happy. Because that's kind of almost where I want to be. Almost. Actually, I would actually like a very custom minimalist lifestyle. But that is going to officially begin in a few months here. Things are definitely going to change. And you know, I've talked about trying to be consistent with this channel. And I'm afraid I may have to let that go. Trying to fight for the consistent routine. Because I was also raised, if you're new here, otherwise you probably already know, very strictly. My dad was a army chaplain, and he brought some of that shit home to the family. So I definitely understand the positive side of discipline and everything, and I am still working towards that shit. Believe you me, there's things I'm working on. I'm actually getting myself into trying to write more and to take more notes on things. That is a fucking bitch to get into right before I actually start doing it. But then I actually kind of enjoy it when I'm actually in the process. So that's been nice. That's been encouraging for me. So I think I am getting better at that. I just got to keep doing it. But that is part of why I'm just letting go of as much of it as I can. I'm kind of done living in an apartment, in a house. I don't really want to own property like that. Yeah, I want my shelter and a warm place to sleep and a shower and everything like that. But believe it or not, I've been looking into it, and you can actually make that work. Living out of a decent sized vehicle. It is going to be rough at first, a little bit more so for my cat. But he's also incredibly laid back, so I'm actually not super worried about it. Just for the times when he's more energetic at night, when I'm trying to sleep. Oh, I don't know how that's gonna go. It should be interesting, but fortunately, I still have some time to prepare for that, and I still have quite a bit of shit to get rid of. And maybe once I'm in more of a swing of things, I'll be more consistent in the future. Hopefully, we will see. But it is important. It is important to let you know that this isn't going to be a super regular thing anymore. Like it's going to be regular. It's just not going to be weekly or bi-weekly. It's not really guaranteed when something's going to come out. Because I've realized something. I am going to try and be consistent. I am going to be try and keep this in mind, because I genuinely enjoy this. I mean, you watch the other videos, you can tell that I enjoy this. I'm not about to stop. In fact, I would actually like very much to go through the entire Bible. I've thought it over, and you know how I said I was going to read through Deuteronomy ahead of time? Well, I started doing that, and I realized, I started doing that, and I was actually about to make my first episode. But then, around that time, I started getting hit with these other Bible stories, getting reminded of them that were outside of the first 5 books of the Bible that were just great. Just great. And, oh my God, have we got to talk about them. It's going to be awesome. Oh. So yes, I've decided I'm not going to stop with Deuteronomy. I am going to keep fucking going. Until I've gone through the whole fucking Bible. This is my new fucking hobby. So definitely stay tuned. Because I am definitely, I'm going to be looking, like, strictly only for the most interesting shit that we can talk about. That's either good or more than likely bad. Oh, man. But one of the reasons, some of the reasons that I also want to take this at a more scatterbrained pace is for a very few specific reasons. Like I said, I was very disciplined growing up, and it was very hard on me. And even though I rebelled as a teenager, I was still very obedient overall, because I did not like getting in trouble. The way my dad spanked us was not fun. And plus my dad was intimidating as was. He was taller than me for most of my life. And also considerably older for a dad. He had me in his late 40s. Mid to late 40s. Both my parents were in their mid to late 40s when they had me. Okay, actually, I think it was my mom was 43 and he was 45. I believe that's what it was. Or something close to that. And so even though I've tried to be chill, and most people describe me as being pretty chill, and even the way I dress, the way I look and everything, I meditate. I literally try and meditate every single day, if not multiple times. But it's still, like, the stress is still in me that I'm still getting out. Like, I've been doing what they call shadow work. I've been working on my emotions, letting myself cry, getting shit out of my system, and it's been healing. It's been awesome. I've had a major lift in my soul, literally. It's crazy how you can have a spiritual experience completely by yourself, without God, without seeing shit, just in here, having a spiritual experience just in here. It's freaking possible, believe it or not. You can get in touch with your own soul, and you can heal parts of it at a time, and that's literally part of therapy. You have to heal yourself. You have to go into yourself and talk to yourself. You have to talk to your younger self. It's freaking awesome. You should definitely look into it if you haven't done it. I believe everyone needs therapy. Believe it or not. I'm not saying that to be a dick. I'm saying it because everyone's been hurt. And most people do not know how to handle it. Most people are not taught how to handle it. If you've been taught how to handle it, you've still been hurt. You've just learned to heal yourself that much sooner in life. So you should be a pretty fucking amazing person, I bet. But for me, I still have shit in me that I'm still releasing. I'm still learning to let go of. I'm still trying to heal. And you see, I came to this realization, in fact, while meditating the other day, that my life is very much, in many ways, we tend to feel like our lives are like a cracked mirror that's been shattered into like a million pieces. You still have all the pieces there, but a lot of the times it's like you only find one piece at a time. You come into life with this broken mirror. You start out as a baby with only this like little bit of reflection that you only know so much about yourself. And then it's like you find pieces, more and more pieces of yourself. You see yourself in different things as you move about life. You're like, oh yeah, that's familiar to me. That is who I am as a person, or who I was in another life. Certain things you're attracted to, or you're put off by. There's a reason for that. It's who you are. You're finding pieces of yourself. You're discovering who you are in life. And at the same time, you're not just a mirror, because there is an overall shape of the mirror, and everyone has their own unique shape with all the pieces that they're looking for to try and fill in. And the more pieces you can fill in, the more complete you are. But at the same time, you're not just a unique shape of a mirror. You're also a fucking Lego set. And let me explain that. Because I love Legos. Yeah, I'm that kind of a nerd. No. Not the type with the robots and shit. No. I just like to build shit. I don't get crazy into the mechanics and shit like that. I love the sets. I love the different things they come out with. I wish I could spend all day on building Legos, and if I have children, I will definitely give them Legos. You better fucking believe it. But the way life is like Legos is that when we are born, we're born into a family, and a lot of the time, the family has their own unique instruction manual of how they want you to turn out, or how they want you to think, or they want you to come out in this particular mindset. It's like, oh yeah, you can be whoever you want to be, as long as you're in this religion, or as long as you're in this school, or as long as you're in this clique, as long as you stay in this political demographic with us, you're cool. And the thing is, sure, those perceptions, they think of them as instruction manuals. So you'd be like, oh, this is how you should ideally be put together. When the fact of the matter is, it's really just a suggestion. Now, if everything was put together properly, in the right perspective, they would be right. Their set of instructions would also be different, but they would be right. But the thing is, no, it's not just that they're not. The thing is, as individuals, we can't stay in that unique cookie cutter perspective that someone else wants. Like, how many of you, like, okay, okay. There's some of you that have no sense of creativity. You build the set, and then you just leave it. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with y'all. I do it, like, I build the set, but I never leave it that way. Like, unless it's a ship. That's pretty much it. Like, if it's a spaceship, like from Star Wars or something, usually I try and keep it in one piece. But, unless it's like ridiculously big, then I'm gonna use the fuck out of those parts for something else to create something unique. And the thing is, that is how most kids with Legos are. They never keep their Legos in the exact same set. You're either very creative with it, or you just keep the set. Or you could be the type that even like creates your own set, trying to be more authentic based on the movie. That's actually pretty fucking awesome in my opinion. Or like making your own fucking amazing set and shit. Like I would love to be able to do that kind of shit. That stuff's amazing. Or like creating your own world and stuff like that. Like on Lego Masters and stuff. That shit's amazing. I wouldn't be able to compete with that, but I could, I could come up with some creative shit, just not enough to win. um, Not the final round, anyways. As technical as they get, hell no. I could learn it, but that's beyond my interest. Just be honest. I'm not quite that nerdy. Nothing against being that nerdy. I'm just not that nerdy. But I would still fuck with Legos. Because they're awesome. But that is how honestly every one of us are. We have the ability to completely mold ourselves into whoever we want. We do have a special outline. We do have a unique outline. For me, it includes a bowler hat. I don't know anything about the past life where I wore this, but I fucking love this hat. This is like my all-time favorite style. For some reason, it screams me. For some reason, I don't know why. But there's shit like that in everyone's lives. I have multiple things like that in my life. Even though I want to be a minimalist, there are things that I want because they remind me of different lives, they're just like so super unique and important to me. Everyone's got shit like that. That is like, that is me and no one else. That is what makes me me. Where the fuck was I going with that? I remembered. Kind of, sort of. But going back to the concepts of the mirror, like life being the combination of that shattered mirror that we're finding pieces of in order to, figure out the whole unique shape, and also being like a Lego set that, yeah, you can build yourself to be like what so-and-so says, or you can recreate yourself with bits and pieces of other sets into something freaking dope. May take longer, may take some configuration, you may have to break it down a few times and try again, but if you keep at it, you can always build something that someone's going to be like, whoa, you made that? Be like, yeah, I made that. It's good to have a little bit of pride. It's good to have that sense of uniqueness, Life is a project, though. It takes a lot more work than Legos. And it takes something else very important, which kind of all wraps it up back to why I'm doing all this shit in the first place. But let me tell it to you, because I love doing shit in a roundabout way, and I love telling stories and shit that I find out and learn about and can recommend and share with other people. I was introduced by a good friend to this show. I think it's on Amazon Prime. I think it's on Paramount Plus as well. I'm not sure. But it is a show called The United States of Terra. And I don't know why I like movies and shows and concepts like this. But it is about... It is... Sorry, I thought I was stuttering there for a second. And then I actually stuttered. Having dyslexia stuttering moment. Let me fix it with more weed. But this show, United States of Terra, is about a mother and wife who has multiple personality disorder. And it is absolutely hilarious and fascinating at the same time to watch. And it is so cool because honestly, I'm I'm amazed by an actor who can do shit like that. For a movie, much less a whole fucking show, damn. Major props. Shit. Like I love acting. I love role playing. Like it's fun. Like I still have yet to ever play Dungeons and Dragons, but I love that sort of shit. And I also love for some reason I love the concept of literally being another person in history and time. Maybe not in right now, but pretending to be and actually like feeling like you are them and just like living in that concept, but it's crazy, in the show because it's, all these personalities, in a way they act like they aren't her in a way, but in many ways it seems like it seems at the same time, it can't help be but her. It's like her regular consciousness is away, but fragments of herself are coming back to that, like they reflect stronger aspects that aren't anything, by themselves aren't anything like the others. None of them are like, I mean, they're all straight up different personalities, but they're all in some way reflections of who she is. And over time, I haven't finished the show yet, so maybe my guessing here is wrong, but from the direction the show is going, it seems like the more honest that Tara is in letting her alter egos out and expressing themselves, the more truth they actually get about what happened to her, and then the closer they get to finding out the truth, she actually gains another alter that is somehow surprisingly helping her. Not going to give it away, but it's trippy. It's actually pretty funny because it's like the deeper she's getting towards the truth, it's questionable if she's getting crazier, but at the same time, it's like the things that she's saying and the pieces that she's putting together are actually making sense at the same time. So it's like it's like putting out there, is she gonna get healed? Is she gonna fix herself or whatever, or is she gonna like figure out how to make peace with it all and all the personalities or what? But it's definitely like the lesson is already there. Like it's and the lesson is the truth is always the most healing. Even if it's painful, it is the most healing and best route of option. Even if it disappoints people, even if it steps on their toes, always try to say it in the best way possible. I'm going to try and do it through comedy, like legit stand-up comedy. It's going to take some work. The reason, that's another thing I actually forgot I had to mention on here. The reason why I've been having a hard time with posting comedy on here is because, well, to be honest, I haven't been able to do any. With the way the economy is, I can't drop extra gas every single week once I get a script and can hit some places up a few times to get a good recording. I just don't have the spare gas. When I'm living out of my vehicle and I have a better grind going with a part-time job in addition to the one I already have, I'll be doing better. I'll be able to fix up my car better because I've had to pour all my money into rent and other bills aside from my car, and I don't even know how fucked my car is, but thank the universe, it is still running. And may it run until I can leave it in the shop for a few days. Fingers crossed will happen before I have to move out. But that is, yeah, the economy sucks. the roads here in Michigan suck. I'm driving as little as possible to save my vehicle. Yeah, and I'm about to live in it, but at least all my money will be going towards that instead of rent and the bills to keep up here. I have plans for maintaining hygiene and keeping myself fed, and I already know how to park. I've been a trucker before. And yeah. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be exciting. I am psyched. Yes. But that is why I do it. I was taught from birth to stand up for the truth. I'll never forget the first time I literally stood up, or the reverse, stood down, sat down, stayed seated, because I didn't believe in dancing. I was at a church youth group with a youth group of friends that I all knew and was familiar with, and I refused to dance because I didn't like the music or didn't want to. I was being a fucking religious brat. Oh my gosh, it's embarrassing to even think about. It was the step on pad thing. I actually think it's fun now. I don't have video games anymore, but video games are fucking awesome. I had video games eventually. I wasn't into that. I was just, I don't know if I had video games yet. I don't know. It crossed some religious tripwire in my brain, and I stood up for the truth like a good Christian and refused to dance. So yeah, not the first time I've done something looking like an idiot, but at least this time I'm doing it looking like I'm comfortable. That's the other lesson that I learned. It's actually from, it's not even from the show itself. It's from the intro. I mean, it's a little bit from the show. Because like the, overall lesson being share the truth, but this other lesson is also learning to relax. It's in the intro song. Learn to love the ride. I can't remember all the lyrics. But that's all that matters right there. Learn to love the ride. Everything will be fine when we learn to love the ride. Just fucking relax. Just let go. Just be you. Dance at your pace, at the rhythm of your own drum. Be the type of warrior that you are meant to be, not what someone else tells you to be, not what some illusion tells you to be. Be your own hero. Be your own best friend. When you learn to be your own best friend and your own hero, nothing can stop you. Well, okay, a bullet and a knife can. But when you're that determined, when you're that proficient, when you take care of yourself the way you take care of a pet, the way you take care of a baby, the way you take care of someone you love, like your best friend, you're going to be okay. It means being responsible. It also means getting to know yourself, being yourself, forgiving yourself, encouraging yourself, telling yourself you love you. It's okay to do that. It's okay to look in the mirror and tell yourself, I love you. Even if it makes you cry. And it might. Repeat it enough times. Say it like you mean it. And you probably will cry. But that's okay. It's good for you. Builds character. No, I'm kidding. It releases stress. It releases very needed emotion. You're going to feel a lot better afterwards. Trust me. Even better than I'm going to feel after finishing this bowl. And that's why I'm not going to try and be consistent with timing, with getting videos out anymore. I've been stressing about it. I've been trying to talk about it, trying to talk myself up so that I would be thinking that if I put it out there, maybe I'll be disciplined. Obviously not. Joke's on me. Wasn't being true to myself, I guess. Hadn't discovered myself as well yet. But now I have. Still got a lot of work to do. But I'm getting better. So will you. So, without further ado, stay tuned. Because you never know when the next video is going to come anymore. But it is going to come. Guarantee you that. So until next time, my friends, stay safe and farewell.